what he always calls the top people. But that was so motivating. And if you're a Republican who is trying to combat the wimp factor, what is better than to round up every He-Man who's got right of center politics and have him out on the stump for you? That's what Bush did.
I only play the Terminator. Michael Dukakis will be the real Terminator.
He is also getting, which I think is hardly insignificant, half a Kennedy. Arnold is married to John Kennedy's niece. When Arnold comes to a White House dinner, she comes too. So what it is, in a sense, is the co-option and approval of one little wing of the enemy camp, the real enemy camp. They get to trade off each other's glamour. It's fun for George to know Arnold, and it's fun for Arnold to know George. And everybody just has a great time.
He calls me Conan the Republican.
There's many ways of looking at who is the top. You can be the guy that wins that year the Oscar. You can win a trophy from the theater owners. You can be one, you know, where you say, okay, I'm an international star because the biggest one because I get the most money. So there's many different ways of looking at who is big. I myself, my goal has been to make sure that that my films are seen by the most people and that I do the best performance possible. So it is like, because when the most people see a movie, that means that it makes the most money. I have really only had a plan when it comes to creating me and publicizing myself. Because whatever product that you have, if it is a film or a car or clothing or whatever it is, if not everyone knows about it, your chances are slim. The first idea is to let everyone know about it and then hope for the best that everyone likes the product. But if people don't know about it, you can have the best product in the world and it's not going to go.
I'll be back.
And then at the end, back out.
Yeah, so Bobby can come back here.
Thank you.
I'll start on a 2 here and go.
Okay, great.
Go ahead.
It's great. Hi, I'm Kathy Diamond.
Hi, how are you doing, Kathy?
I'm fine. From San Diego.
If you do, let's say, those press junkets, and you give an interviewer only 3 minutes or 4 minutes to ask you questions, that this guy is only there for one thing, and this is to sell you tickets.
Okay, thank you.
And then you do 100 interviews a day like that, 3 minutes each, and so you say to the guy right away when he sits down, or the woman, I said, okay, we talk about the movie.
When we see you on interviews, you come off as honest. There are some people who don't, and we believe that you believe what you're selling, and you believe in what you're doing.
Total Recall is a typical summer movie that you bring out there, like we open on June 1st. You go out there on June 1st when all the school kids are out and let them all attack the movie houses. That's the idea behind this movie, because it's a real hip movie.
Do you worry, though, when you have a new film coming out?
That's why I'm in the business. I like this pressure. I enjoy being out there with the movie and being out there in a month like June, which is like the heavyweight championships of the world in movies. All the studio executives step into the ring and beat up on each other, and also all the stars, you know. So everyone is stepping into the ring and is beating up on each other. And whoever is coming out alive on the end, you know, is the winner. That's the way it goes.
Well, I hope that we'll have a chance to talk then for Kindergarten Cop, because we talk nearly every time, don't we? And it's fun.
Remember one thing. I totally rely on you to sell my movies, because without you, the people out there wouldn't know that I have a movie out there. So I really appreciate that you come always to every movie and that you have a little chance to schmooze here.
Okay. Arnold, it's wonderful to see you. Good luck with the film.
Thank you.
Gleason is now in front of Arnold.
So that was unique.
Margaret in front of Rachel.
Publicists in Hollywood, I think at this point, have the power of somebody selling water in the desert. They're selling something people really need, which is stars.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Where do we go? Because I have to know exactly what kind of a table we have. A good table. Okay, that looks like a good table. Hi, good morning, everybody. How's it going? That's right. Yeah, my name is Danny DeVito.
That's why we like it.
Yeah, some water that will be good. Is this for radio or what is that?
A combination of both. Some of it's here for radio, and some
So you edit it down then, or what are you going to do?
in my case, it's a syndicated show with Dick Clark.
Right. Because usually those, it's always better to do those separately, you know, because then you condense it much more.
Yeah.
Those things, you know, otherwise you bubble on forever.
Well,
And the listener will say, what the hell is wrong with him?
we'll get the
He must have had a few Löwenbräu too much. Yeah. What is this?
people don't mind dabbling.
It's a microphone.
Yeah, I know that, but then what do I need a microphone?
I don't know. I need to tape you. Isn't that silly?
All right. I mean, listen, I mean, you all have one thing in common. You're all journalists, right? Good.
A press junket is basically something where a bunch of editors agree to allow their reporters to be paid for and wined and dined by a party, movie studio, about whom they are supposed to be writing objectively.
I like to hype myself, but that would have been a little bit too much. You know, I'm so enthusiastic about my performance. I am very happy about the part itself, simply because it was...
Magazine editors know very well that stars sell magazines when placed on their covers. So there becomes this kind of dreary cross-pollination between the two forms, in which ultimately the press, which is supposed to have some critical function, some adversarial function, really has become another arm of the publicity machine for Hollywood.
Oh, God.
Thank you, Arnold. Thank you.
And, who is next here?
Thank you, Arnold.
Because if it is a woman, I want to clip on this in her chest.
I've been blacklisted at studios for writing things that displeased the studio. Nobody said that they were inaccurate or unfair. They just didn't like it.
Ma'am, no.
So what happens is there's a lot of timidity among the press in Hollywood. And there's also a lot of naivete. You know, they sort of sit down with Robin Williams or Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they're so thrilled that they don't really know the business angle. They don't really get the background. They don't ask a difficult question. They don't want to make anybody mad.
If you were an evil guy in former life, then why did Melina already love you?
You talk about this innocence and this vulnerability. You are innocent and vulnerable in Twins, but I mean, this is a very rock'em sock'em movie.
Arnold, you were seen posing at Cannes with Sylvester Stallone. Does that mean the feud that erupted after your Playboy interview is over?
You're a new father, and I'd like to congratulate you. And I'm wondering how comfortable you are with that new role, who diapers and who rocks the baby.
Arnold is there to remind us all that Hollywood is a community whose gaze is fixated, as it has ever been, on the bottom line. Arnold is a moneymaker. They may have to pay him $10 million a picture, but they get it back, and that's what counts. That's what counts.
Total Recall is doing excellent. We're now over $110 million as we speak, and we think we'll end up over $120 million. And if film rental, that is what comes back to the distributor, which in this case is TriStar, that'll be between $70 and $75 million. That's a very, very good performance, better than Twins. And this movie, you have to look to Arnold as the principal source of its monster success.
I think it
Arnold very, very much that he couldn't stop this book, that here is he, 6'2", a multimillionaire, a Kennedy family intimate, a member of George Bush's administration, who didn't want a book to be published, yet here it is, the book was out. I do have a chapter about Arnold's capacity to try and persuade the media to portray him in a very flattering light. I mean, at the Cannes Film Festival, journalists from all over the world were asked to sign an agreement that they wouldn't ask Arnold about the book. Newsday ran a minor item on Arnold's father having been a member of the Nazi Party. Now, this is extremely, extremely well documented. First of all, I have Gustav's Nazi Party membership. Secondly, the World Jewish Congress has it on record. Thirdly, they have authenticated the membership papers. Now, while Gustav's membership of the Nazi Party is absolutely no reflection on Arnold, his publicist has continually and consistently denied that Gustav Schwarzenegger was a member of the party. And in the case of Newsday, they wanted to run this, and they were told, this is not true. If you print this, you'll have a great deal of trouble. Also, Arnold's use of steroids, which of course, although he doesn't use steroids now, I think is pretty relevant given that he is currently the chairman of the President's Council on Sport and Fitness.
There are certain stars that you serve by getting them in the press, and there are other stars you serve by keeping them out of the press.
The 27th of May on is all free for this movie. From then on, I'm full on board. But I'm just saying in between that, okay? So we can jump around and do all the things and take care of. There is 4 days where I go to Cannes to do the overseas hype on a movie and the selling of this movie, and also the same time selling Terminator 2. So I will not be able to do anything for this movie. But in between, there's always a day or two.
The idea is that everything that you do should beget something else, that there should be, you know, a next step and a next level, and that you're working towards something.
I've set aside several days in May for this movie.
Oh,
Which
for this
is,
movie or
yeah,
another movie?
no, for this movie, which is for rehearsal, for wardrobe, for photo shoots.
We can't let him run around. He knows too much. There! The bug's in your skull.
What we've been able to do with Arnold, first through Twins and now hopefully through Kindergarten Cop, is broaden his appeal. I think that Arnold is perceptive enough to understand that he can both stretch himself as an actor and broaden his base of public perception by trying to do more than one thing.
There's two ways to look at Arnold Schwarzenegger's involvement. One is the commercial and the business side, and the other one is as an actor. I'll start with the obvious first, which is the commercial side. For the producer or the director, it makes it easier because knowing that you have a movie star of his caliber, the studio is easier to work with. They give you the money and they leave you alone more. You know, with Kindergarten Cop, you have Arnold Schwarzenegger playing a tough Los Angeles cop. He's forced to go into a small town as a substitute kindergarten teacher. The idea of having the Terminator or the Predator coming into a school having to deal with 5- and 6-year-olds is one that is immediately humorous, seductive, and delicious in many ways.
When I read it, it calls out for the biggest, toughest cop imaginable in a forced to teach kindergarten to a bunch of rowdy 6-year-olds. The apotheosis of that is Arnold Schwarzenegger. To me, he just leaped out as the best choice for the role if we could get him.
I mean, I would wear a black jacket with a black shirt with this jacket. I would wear a black shirt with this jacket. But I mean, visually speaking, it doesn't work. Yeah. It really doesn't work. No. So how about the yellow one?
Any dark red, any kind of things rather than just black.
Red looks good with green.
Crimson would look nice, you know.
Cream colors. Purple, you know, purple. Purple will look good. They called Universal Studio, called Tom Pollock and Ron Howard, who owned the script, and told them that I would to direct the film.
Now put it back.
Sell it, Arnold, sell it.
Sell it, sell it.
I was absolutely convinced that he is the kind of a director that can bring out of me certain qualities that other directors cannot bring out. He mentions a few things that he feels are very valuable to make this character a very sellable item in a film and to make the film be successful not only in America but all over the world.
That's it, thank you.
Maybe this is easy. Every scene will have its own set of problems. He doesn't have the formal training that many other actors do, so I will have to use different techniques, sometimes tricks, to get the desired effect. And I think he can do it. That remains to be seen. It's very hard to describe the technique. You just go in there and do it, and sometimes it's a key word or a situation or giving him a piece of business that takes his mind off something.
38.
357, that's model 19. Here's a cold pipe on
The regular 45, yeah.
Beyond that, we worked for his physique. I mean, the first time he walks into the kindergarten class, we played in a very special way, which deals with his size that you wouldn't do if there was another actor playing the part.
Okay, quiet. Natural, remember? Just acting natural like we did before. Okay, here's the principal.
This is Mr. Kimball, your new kindergarten teacher.
Okay, you're looking at his toes. 1, 2, 3.
Well, teachers come in all shapes and sizes. Now let's say good morning to Mr. Kimball.
Good morning. How are you? Fine. Good. I'm very happy to be here. Yes?
I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay, go ahead.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Quiet. Thank you very much. That's terrific. I will remember that. Okay? Yeah, I will. Thank you very much for this information. I will remember that.
Yes. There's a definite limit on what he can do as an actor comfortably, and we've been trying to push the envelope of that a bit, starting with Twins and now even more with Kindergarten Cop.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kimball.
Sit down. So nice to see you all again.
It combines action, it combines humor, it combines children, and it's warm, and it's a feel-good movie.
Did you like meeting Arnold the other day?
Seems
Yeah.
like a fun guy to work with.
Yeah. Did you see his film? Is any of his other movies?
Twins, part of Twins.
Twins, you guys saw Twins because you are twins, right?
Right.
With the making of Twins, they didn't know whether he would be accepted as a comedian, which he was. And I think that's given them the confidence to say, right, we can push this even further. We can make him into a leading man, which I don't think he's ever been in the sense of being a romantic lead.
Miss O'Hara is here to talk to you about something very important. So now pay attention, okay?
You forgot. Arnold, you got to get him to sit down after,
Oh, yeah, that's right, okay.
Let's do the whole entrance one more time.
This will be my 9th feature with him in almost 7 years. And I work doing photo double him and chase scenes and stand in for him, help set the lighting, et cetera, whatever needs to be done. I mean, obviously, to double him, you have to have a certain degree of his size. I wouldn't flatter myself in saying that I have all of the things that make up Arnold's physique, but I have enough of them that I can get by with it. And, you know, the face structure, they say, is sort of similar. Mine's a little more beaten up than his, but that's what they say.
Hey, guys, Arnold's here.
There you go. Now you can have the real one instead of the, as they call me, ersatz.
Schwarzenegger is Hollywood's dream of what a person should be. A man who actually wants to be a star and will do exactly what the studios want, his agents want, and his publicists want.
And it's going to go on and on. He's reinvented himself 5 or 6 times already on a grand scale, and I'd see no end in sight. You've got to remember it. This is a country that put Ronald Reagan in the White House. I mean, the sky's the limit for someone like Arnold.
As there is a McDonald's for hamburgers, Arnold should be referred to as McStar. What he has done is exactly what McDonald's did, and it is the idea behind all good merchandising. Give the public what they want, make it predictable enough so that they'll know what they're getting, and they'll come back for more because they know what it is, and then toss in something a little different. I mean, McDonald's added salads and Arnold added twins. Toss in, you know, Arnold now wants people to see another side of him.
I have been fortunate that every year the public's interest in me and in my films have gone up. That includes covers and magazines, if it is posters that are being sold, if it is movies that are being sold, whatever it is. They sell better this year than last year, and last year they sold better than the year before, and so it has increased all the time, and we hope it will continue like that.